And welcome to the show. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. We have the late, beautiful Betty Van Velsen. How's it going, Betty?
The late?
Yeah, you know what? I said that and I said, wait a second. That means that she had passed away.
That's what I thought.
How about this? Let me start over. You're going on mute. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. We have the non-unpunctual Betty Van Velsen. Betty, how are you doing out there?
How can you say that? I'm here.
Let's try it again.
No, just that you want to be here on time, and that's something that we don't have time enough, right? Yeah.
Let's try it again. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there. No, I'm just kidding.
I was shaking my head here and rolling my eyes.
Yeah, but
Two emojis at the same time.
you can't have two emojis at the same time.
Emojis, yes. Yeah, well, that's the point. There needs to be an emoji that's rolling his eyes and shaking his head.
You can't triple stamp a double stamp.
Why not?
It's against the rules.
I'm the queen of fallacies, so why, this is also a fallacy, maybe. And then,
Yeah, you are when no one's around.
Child.
You are when nobody's around. It's like fallacy after fallacy.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
Proud of it.
at least you're consistent.
Yeah, I hope so.
All right. What do we
At
got?
least I'm consistent in something.
Yeah. Oh, are you implying that I'm not consistent in anything?
I am. At least I am consistent in something.
You're consistently something.
In something.
You're consistent.
There's no sprouts out of your ears or bananas.
Oh my
whatever.
God, my cat's meowing at me. I just fed you.
Oh yeah. We're all doing this for the cat's meow.
I am the cat's meow. Missy Palmer, what's up?
You're all that and the cat's meow.
No, and a bag of chips. You're mixing up your
I
metaphors.
know, but I'd like to combine those things.
You're mixing up metaphors too.
I like that.
You better get started because he's meowing at me. So go ahead and share your screen. He's getting pretty rambunctious about it. Just hold your friggin' horses.
But what does he need to do then? What does he want you to do?
I have no idea. Where are you? Oh, you're on Skype. That's probably why I can't pull this up. Hey, what is this other thing up and get out of there?
I'm thinking that you're gonna like this sort of.
Well, I'm not gonna like the first part because I'm gonna have to be out of the net. So, part one. Do you got anything below
That's
part?
the most important part.
Do you have
need to be
any?
there.
Do you have anything below part one Esau on that slide?
No.
All right, that's is about as much as you got too. So,
I usually consider that part to be lost off the slide. But,
yeah, but I think I fixed that.
Yeah, but I have that sort of like Windows beam in there, you know, with your,
Oh, yeah, I don't see that though. Yeah, I know what you're
No,
talking.
that's
You
good.
can exit out of that.
I don't know if I can. Well, let me just this is the best it's gonna be.
Okay.
So
because
how long are you going to chase after your cat?
I don't know what he wants.
Just chase him off and close the door.
I
behind
can't.
him.
Yeah, I close the door and then he starts meowing outside my door, so I can't do that. All right,
String him
I could string him up, but I can't do that. PETA's around.
up. Put him in the closet.
I can't do that. No, I actually love the cat.
You actually do, huh?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, I understand.
You better understand. You got two of them yourself. So, without further ado, Betty, the adversary, part one, Esau. Break a leg.
Adversary.
Oh God.
I call it adversary.
It is adversary. I screwed that up too. We could start all over. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel,
Too funny. It's not like you to pronounce things like epitome the wrong way.
that's not a mispronunciation. That's total dumbass. The adversary. What was the other word? There was another word. What? Now he's up on my chair. What do you want? Tell Betty. He wants me bad.
Yeah.
Can you blame him?
Yes, I do blame him because he always does this when I have my presentations, for crying out loud.
Yeah, whenever you call or something, he's always meowing at me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's just jealous.
Did you hear him?
No, but he's jealous.
What do you want, man? He's meowing and then moving towards the hallway, and then when he doesn't hear anything, he comes back. Meow! There he is. Son of a you little stinker. All right, Betty.
Something wrong then. Well, go chase your cat.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Start off. Here we go.
All right. So this presentation is a sort of a new series. It has to go in between the other ones of the Israel parts because I wanted to stress that there is also another big part in the Bible about the adversary. Yeah, basically people groups and a people group that is always contrary to the Israelites. And that's what I want to talk about it now. And it's still, like, the disclaimer is still up. It's just my exploration through the Bible. If things are wrong in this presentation, just correct me or see, at least make it sure that it's also correct. And I will incorporate it in the next ones. I'm very interested in what people think of this one. So let's go here. The last time that we talked about the Israelite parts was the division in Israel, and we saw a picture of it in my presentation. In this presentation, I did that last time, and that Jacob basically said, "I'm now become two bands. Deliver me, I pray thee, and from the hand of Esau." That's basically the adversary. I fear him lest he come and smite me and the mother of the with the children. So he's afraid of his adversary, and this is his own brother, right? So basically, this is why I wanted to go here, because we need to know basically where God wants us to focus on when he says, okay, there's now a division in Israel, although this was just a type. There's now a division in Israel, and basically it was caused by Esau. Right? He's dividing the people. So here we go with in Genesis 32, verse 7 and 8. And then Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that was with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels into two bands, and said, if Esau come to the one company and smite it, then the other company which is left shall escape. So that's a plan, basically the plan of God all along. And we're going to see how that follows. So we have the division in Israel, and it's basically the two houses. So we have Jacob with his 4 wives, his sons, all divided between the different wives that he has. Then we got Judah, Benjamin, those form the house of Judah. And then we got Joseph, who also got 2 sons, which Jacob blessed, and he blessed Ephraim over Manasseh. And Ephraim was the one that got the kingdom, the house of Israel. I stressed last time in the presentation that when the division happened between the son Rehoboam of Solomon and his servant Jeroboam, that Jeroboam was an Ephraimite. So he got the kingdom. He didn't do well with it, but that was where the house of Israel was, and the other part was the house of Judah. So now we're going to explore first the genealogy and the maps somewhat, and of course Esau. So here again, we got the Genesis 32. And Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. And when Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's host." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. Sorry, pronunciation. And Jacob sent messages before him to Esau his brother unto the land of Seir, the country of Edom. So we now know that Esau has a special place where he goes to. And that's basically where he dwelt and had his residence. So how does that look on the map? So who is who and where? And then we start at the beginning after the flood, and the ark rested in the 7th month on the 17th day of the month upon the mountains of Ararat. Okay, that's interesting. So there we start, basically. That's basically where after the flood the civilization started. So where was that about? About here. And it's about in this region. I might not be totally correct with this, but these are the mountains of Ararat. It's not one mountain, it's more mountains that stuck above, far above when he landed on this place. So the Ark of Noah has been found, and this is the Ark of Noah. So these are the mountains behind it, and it supposedly broke off of the mountain and slid down after I think it was a eruption of a volcano or something. So we see here that this is the mountains, and here's the Ark of Noah. It's a real place. So, okay, the genealogy of Noah. So we got, of course, the 3 sons. So we got Ham, Shem, and Japheth. And then we got the sons of Ham, Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Canaan. And then we got a couple of sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Raama, Sabticha, and Nimrod. Nimrod, very interesting. And Rama got Sheba and Sedan. I like the name Sheba. And then Mitzrayim, he's got a lot of sons, like Ludim, Ananim, Lebahim, Lehabim, Naphtuhim, Patrushim, and Kalushim, and Kafturim. And from this Kalushim came the Philistine, it says in the Bible. Might not be this people group, but another that came after. And then we got Canaan, that he has a lot of offspring, like Sidon, Heth, Jebusites, Amorites, the Hivites, the Arkites, the Girgashites, Sinites, Arvadites, Zemarites, and the Hamathites. Nice, nice set of names. So where are these people situated? So where did they go to? So here you have Mount Ararat, and this is like Jacob, Shem, and Ham. So we got here Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Dedan, Ram, Ama, Sheba, Sidon, Havilah. And also here is a Havilah. There might be 2 places. People are not really sure which one is situated where. I got Canaan here, and all these Hivites and Arkites and whatever, they settled here. So, and then we go and see that also this part is a part of Cush or Ham. So Hamites lived here too. And that's where Nimrod dwelt, and he created the town of Babel. That's where that Tower of Babel was planned and built. Okay, now we go to the next son, and that's Japheth. Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. And Gomer got Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. And Javan got Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim. And where are those? See here, Gomer, Tubal, Javan. Basically, Javan is the Greeks. We place Tiras is Tyre, Ashkenazi, Magog, Edom, Dodanim, Togarmah, and Medai, and the Sinite. They think that these are later on went more this way and became the Chinese. So here we go to Shem, and the sons of Shem are Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. We got the sons of Aram, Uz, Hul, and Gether, and Mash. And then from Arphaxad, difficult name, comes Salah, Eber, and he has basically two sons, Peleg and Joktan, and Eber is where the word Hebrew comes from. And Peleg, they say that Peleg is the one that I think is also the name means division, that the lands is divided. Maybe this is the time where the Tower of Babel was sort of abandoned, or when the confusion of the languages started. So Joktan got a lot of sons. I'm not going to read them all, but you can read it on the screen. And then Peleg got Lieu, and Lieu got Syrinx and Nahor, and then Terah. And from Terah came the two sons, Haran, Nahor, and of course, the most important one, the third, Abraham. And from Haran came Abraham's nephew Lot, that we know about in the Bible, from Sodom and Gomorrah. And some incestuous thing happened with his daughters, and that gave us the Moabites and the Ammonites, so Ben-Ami and Moab. So, and now you have a sort of a picture of all the people groups that were there at the time. So here we go to Shem. Later on, the territory got a little bit bigger. So we see Aram, Ashur, Elam, Joktan, Hazarmaveth, that's one of the Joktan, Arphaxad, Ovir, and this is the place where Abraham came from, so he traveled basically here and so into Canaan. And this is also where Sumer is, this the earliest civilizations, they say, with the certain writing, cuneiform, I think they call it. So this was, later on is this Assyria. This here is Babylon, Midian, the Midianites, Ammon, Moab. There's the place Goshen where the Israelites were going to when there was famine in the land, and Joseph, their brother, was a vizier in Egypt. This is the place where the Medes and the Persians came from later on, in a later time. So later on, this is where Israel was sighted, and Edom was at the opposite of it, which is also in scripture, that it says that it's going to be at the opposites of Israel. So in a different map, we can see here, in the corner here, a bit of Shem, and this is the land of Ham or Cush, and this is Japheth, a large amount of ground. I don't know if they already migrated further north. So here we have Ham, Shem, place of Aram, Sidon, Put. This was in Javan, Dodanim, Edom, also Kiddim. It started perhaps on one of these islands, the Kiddim or Chiddim, but later on this sort of got to this whole region. Trace, Tyrus, Trace, Ashkenaz, Meshech, Gomer, Magog, Tubal, Caphtorim, And now we have Tarshish, and Tarshish is something that many people are, also scholars are sort of not sure about. So we have a couple of sort of places where it could be. It could be here, it could be in Carthage, Carthago, also in Spain or in England, because it was basically a seafaring tribe where they got they traded tin and other minerals, so that was very important. So I'm not quite sure where it is located. They have not found any like archaeology proofs of it, so we basically have to do it just by scripture to see where it should be at. But many people give me many places, so I have not found it to be like convincing that it's one or the other. So if some people in the audience know about some faults here or know some other information, I'm welcome to it, because I really find this interesting. So back to here, where we see that this is basically the place of Edom, and that's what we are now focusing on. And that's Mount Seir, so that's basically where sort of their capital was, of their main city that they stayed. Haran is where Jacob went to when he was going to flee from his brother, and then he worked for his uncle Laban for about 20 years, and then he came back, and then he met his brother here, somewhat here in the middle, and they were both sort of afraid of each other. What was going to happen? So now the genealogy of Abraham. So we know a little bit more about what's more. So here we see basically Abraham with Sarah gave her handmaid to Abraham for a son, so that became Ishmael. Sorry, there has to be an H in here, by the way. Ishmael, and he got 12 sons and also a daughter. And Isaac, he also gets to have two sons, so Esau and Jacob. Esau marries the daughter of Ishmael. Very interesting. And Jacob gets to have also a daughter, and then also 12 sons. So you see sort of a nice balance, basically, between Abram's real wife, his legal wife, and then his concubine, basically. And you see that they both have these 12 sons. Sort of interesting to see how that balances out. Esau gets to have 5 sons and 2 daughters, by the way. And then Abraham, after Sarah's death, marries Keturah. Some people think that Keturah is the same as Hagar, but that's up for debate. It's never really a proof for that, but some people believe that. Others say, well, no, this is another wife that he got. And she gets to have 6 sons, Simran, Medan, Ishbak, Shua, Jokshan, and Midian. So he comes, this is the Midianites come from this. And this is maybe the Medes, Medai, not sure about that. So Jokshan also has a Sheba and Dedan, Ashurim, Litashim, and Leumim. And also Midian also has 4 sons. So now we sort of have a sort of situation where we know, sorry, who is who, and all these people sort of had a place where they dwelt. Some we know and some we don't. Of course, Abraham and his people went to Canaan and lived there, and Esau went to Mount Seir and lived there. So who was Esau? So 2 kids fighting, and when Rebekah was barren, Isaac prayed to the Lord to give him a child, and the Lord gave Rebekah a prophecy over her twins. What was that prophecy? In Genesis 25, verse 21 to 23. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So that's interesting. And the funny thing is that Rebekah was a long time barren, like Sarah was. Sarah was also a long time that she didn't conceive. I think she was 90 when she got her first child. So we got in the next verses, when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were 2 twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So he was 60 years old. Next verses. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So you see a sort of a character trait coming up. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. So now we know where the name Edom comes from. We continue, and Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, Behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? Jacob said, Swear to me this day. And he swore unto him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. And thus Esau despised his birthright. So there's many things in these scriptures. We know now that Esau was a hunter, a cunning man, a cunning person. We know that he is called Edom, right? And that's where his sort of kingdom comes from now. It's Edom. He sells his birthright. He doesn't really care for what happens next. He's living day by day, basically, but also he doesn't care for how do you say that? He doesn't really care for all the inheritance that he could get. You can also, if you see this in a spiritual way, you can see that he basically might not have believed in an afterlife and find it very interesting.
He was hungry.
What?
He was hungry. Now, for me, I wouldn't give it away for lentils. Maybe double cheese pepperoni pizza. Lentils ain't happening. I'd have to just outright deny that. Plus, Esau was a man's man, whereas Jacob was mama's boy.
Yeah, that's something that a person that's not very spiritual would say.
I'm just telling it like it is. That's the way it reads.
I understand that, but that's the carnal way to read it. If you read it in a spiritual way, you can see that a hunter, cunning, always on the prowl, fighting over stuff, aggressive, right? You can also read it like that. You can also see that if you,
of course,
for just the next meal, you would do anything, right? Just for the next meal. you would basically sell out your own mother for your next meal. That's not a good character trait, is it?
Well, isn't that implicit in all I just said?
You might be Esau.
You better continue.
I better continue. Yeah. So Edom means red, right? Means red. So let's clear this out. So Esau, the hunter, he kills Nimrod. So in the book of Jasher, I know that many people don't support the book of Jasher, but I think it makes things more vivid. I don't make a doctrine out of it, right? That's the whole truth and nothing but the truth book, but it gives us more depth to a certain amount of background, and it's still interesting to see what kind of things would come up. So in the book of Jasher, chapter 27, and Nimrod was observing Esau all the days, for jealousy was formed in the heart of Nimrod against Esau all the days. And on a certain day Esau went in the field to hunt, and he found Nimrod walking in the wilderness with these two men. And all these mighty men and his people were with him in the wilderness, but they removed at a distance from him. And they went from him in different directions to hunt. And Esau concealed himself from Nimrod, and he lurked for him in the wilderness. See what he does now. And Nimrod and his men that were with him did not know him. And Nimrod and his men frequently walked about in the field in the cool of the day, and to know where his men were hunting in the field. And Nimrod and two of his men that were with him came to the place where they were, when Esau started suddenly from his lurking place, and drew his sword, and hastened, and ran to Nimrod, and cut off his head. Wow. And Esau fought a desperate fight with the two men that were with Nimrod. And when they called out to him, Esau turned to them, and smote them to death with his sword. And this is the story in Jasher that's basically before he comes back home and is faint and wants to have his meal or his food of lentils. So he killed Nimrod and a couple of guys. Right? So Nimrod, we know Nimrod was the man that built the Tower of Babel and was like wanting to rule the world and basically build a tower towards God and fight God. Right? So also he was a cunning hunter. Right? And now the one kills the other and beheads him even, and that's uh, not good, right? That means that maybe Esau might be twice as bad as Nimrod. What do you make of it?
I don't.
You don't make anything of it. Okay, good. So it makes a good background story. So Esau is cheating, is being cheating out of his blessing. It didn't fit the whole title. And Isaac his father said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly, and said, Who? Where is he that has taken venison, and brought it me? And I have eaten of it all before thou camest, and have blessed him, and yea, he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard these words of his father, he cried with a great and exceeding bitter cry. And he said unto his father, Bless me even so also, even also, my father. Right? And he said, Thy brother came with a subtlety, and hath taken away thy blessing. So I'll go further, and he said, is not he rightly named Jacob? Means heel catcher or supplanter. For he supplanted me, and these two times he took away my birthright, which is not true by the way, because he sold it. And behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved the blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. And with corn and wine I have sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me even also, my father. And even Esau, he lifted up his voice and wept. And there's a scripture in the New Testament where they say, well, even weeping didn't do any good for God anymore. It was too late. It was too late. So Esau took, when he was 40 years old, he took a wife, Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And those were agreed and to Rebecca. So she didn't like these wives. And what do these names mean? So Esau, doer, maker, worker. So he is basically a carnal man, right? A hunter, a worker, a doer, someone that is really in the world, so to speak. So Judith means praised, let him be praised. In Strong's it says that Judith means Jewish, praised, that means praised. So Beri means my well the Lord. Hittite, terrors, terrible, fearful. That's a nasty name. Right? Bashemath means fragrance, spicery. This is later on something that they have in the land of Edom, where the fragrances and the spiceries come from, like myrrh and frankincense. So it's sort of a incorporated into the words and the names. So Elon means terebinth or mighty, oak grove or oak. The word oak or terebinth is usually also for stiff-necked people, I would say, used for that. So Isaac means he will laugh, or he laughs, or laughter. And Rebecca means ensnare or feathering, tied up, secured. So the genealogy of Esau is as follows. So he has these three wives, Judith, and then there's a sort of a debate, is she also a Holibama? Because we see her once, and then afterwards we don't see her. So we have the second wife, Bashemath, that's also Ada, and we have Mahalath, also Bashemath, but she is the sister of Nabaioth, and that is basically the daughter of Ishmael. So here we see the fathers. And then I'm thinking that there must have been a fourth wife, and she's called Aholibama, and she was a Hivite or a Horite. So here we have a quote from Eliot's commentary. It says, now as Hivite and Horite differ in Hebrew only in the length of the top of the middle letter, and it has mistakes in the transcription of biblical names are of a constant occurrence. It seems certain that Aholibama was a Horite and therefore entirely distinct from Judith. So that's what they say. And later on we see in the book of Jasher something else too that sustains that. So Esau took his wives and his daughters of Canaan, Ada and the daughter of Elon the Hittite, Aholibama, the daughter of Anna, and all that. And then we see here also that Bashemath is the daughter and the sister of Nabaioth. And then here Ada was also the wife of Esau, and she bore Eliphaz. This Eliphaz, by the way, is the one that is mentioned in the book of Job. And Aholibama were Joash, Jalam, and Korah. Also can see here that Judith is not mentioned here anymore, right? So here's where the confusion starts with Esau's wives. They say the daughters of Heth. So, but that's here we see different wives. So one is of Ishmael, one is of Bashemath, sorry, and the one is a Hittite and a Hivite. So that's something that can't be. So Judith isn't mentioned anymore, but Aholibama. Okay. So again, all these names, I won't go over them all, but I did this for my own also because I wanted to know what these names meant. Interesting is that Aholibama means the tent of a high place. That's something that's interesting. What's also very interesting is that a Hivite means a tent dweller, and a Horite means a cave dweller. So this is later on, you can see that this is where Mount Seir was a mountainous region, and most of the Bedouins live there, and they live in caves or in tents. So here we got the sons of Esau. I'm not going to name them all, read all through this, but I sort of emphasized a certain amount of names, like Eliphaz, Sepho. It's going to be an important player. Teman, you can read also about in the Bible that where are the wives of Teman or Teman. I don't know how you pronounce that in English, by the way. But this is interesting too. Sepho is interesting, and Kenaz is also interesting. Amalek, the Amalekites, very important group that always attacked Israel. So those are the ones that we will later also come across. Also, these have names that mean something. So Seir means shaggy, rough, hairy. Some other names. Well, Teman means the south on the right. Also interesting. But Sepho means watchtower, watch, gaze. So sometimes you can see by the names what kind of people group you're dealing with. So Kenaz also means hunter, hunting. Timnah, restrained. Amalek, people that lap, that ring. Nahath, serpent, bronze. Shama, appalling desolation. Who calls his kid this? Astonishment, wasting. Mitzah, fear, trepidation. What? It's like interesting for me. And Zibion means colored, fussy colored garment, or hyena, variegated. I had to look up this word. Do you know what that means, John?
I have no idea. I looked at the word and I said, I never heard that in my life.
Well, I thought that I was the one that didn't know because I don't know the English, but it means multicolored. So variants, right? Variegated means multicolored.
It's a silly word.
It is, but I never saw it before. But yeah, it is mentioned in the encyclopedia or encyclopedia. So yeah, also Korah means bald and ice and hail and frost and concealed. Here it sort of seems to that sort of character trait of this people group almost. So we go to the Isaac and his prophecy over Esau. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass that when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break the yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, then I will slay my brother. So he waits basically for his father to die, and then he wants to kill him. That's why Jacob was so afraid to come back to Canaan, where his brother would be waiting for him and meeting up. And then he divided his camp into two bands. And there's a prophecy that's yeah. Is this already fulfilled or not? It's interesting. See. But there's a warning for us also. So thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. So Egypt is basically the world, and the Edomite is basically the enemy. So we need to be aware of this. So what is a characteristic of Esau is that he had not per se kings, but also dukes or chiefs. And these are, again, his offspring, right? The sons of Edom, the sons of Esau are who is Edom. And you see also these dukes. Also, these mean all kinds of names that mean something. I won't go over them. You just put them for a moment in the wait a moment that people can maybe pause the video and see what the names mean. They are really interested in it. So we have the sons of Seir. Also, they have a lot of names. And so basically Esau intermarried these Horites, or the sons of Seir. Also, these have names and meanings. The names have meaning. Also here, Ebal, heap of barrenness, palace room, exterminating, restrained, cave dweller, ruddy, shaggy, mountain goat, tall, rising, flowing, wavy, covering, caveman. Right, is a caveman. Interesting. So we have again the whole genealogy, right, of Noah, and you want to know who these Hivites are. So where are these Hivites? They are basically from Canaan, so also. Right? So we see them here. So we have the wives of Esau. So we have now that Judith has two daughters, Marsit and Puit, which is in the book of Jasher explained. And Aholibama has three sons. So Ada has one son here, Eliphaz, and Eliphaz got a lot of sons. So he got Teman, Omar, Sepho, and Katam, and Kenaz. And Eliphaz had a concubine, and that was Timnah the Horite. And she also got a son, and that is Amalek. So this is basically a half-brother of these guys here. So we also have a offspring of Kenaz, that is Jehanna. Interesting to know. See also that that Mahalath has one son, and then that son also got 4 other sons, but Jephunneh, he also got a son, and he's called Caleb. Oh, who's Caleb? Well, Caleb is the adopted son of Hezron, and that's in the tribe of Judah. I can later on show that in a whole setup with the tribe of Judah, where you can see that Caleb is the adopted son, and Othniel is the younger brother of Caleb, and he was a judge over Israel for a couple of years. So Eliphaz, Amalek, and Kenaz, Teman, and Sepho are important names. Right? So Eliphaz is in the book of Job. Amalek is the huge enemy of Israel. It was the first one that attacked them when they went into the wilderness after the Exodus, or in the Exodus. And Kenaz is also the Kenazite is Jethro, right? Is the father-in-law of Moses. Teman is mentioned by the prophets many times as that there is a lot of knowledge and wisdom in there. And Sepho is an important duke in the book of Jasher. So here we have the proof that Caleb and Othniel are the sons of Kenaz. And Othniel, the son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, took it, and he gave him a wife, Axa, his daughter, to wife. So, and here in Judges 1:13, Judah went against the Canaanites and that dwelt in Hebron. Now the name of Hebron before was Kirjath Arba, and they slew Sheshnai, Ahiman, and Talmai. And from thence they went against the inhabitants of Debir, etc. And Caleb said that he smited, and him will give Axa, my daughter, to wife. So he basically gives his wife, of his daughter, to his younger brother. Strange. But it happened, apparently. And in Judges also here, when the children of Israel cried unto the Lord raised up a deliverer to the children of Israel, who delivered them. Even Othniel was the son of Kenaz, Caleb's younger brother. And the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, And he judged Israel and went out to war, and the Lord delivered. So you can see it, and he fought a king also from Mesopotamia, and the land had rest for 40 years. So there's also something good that came out of the tribe of Esau in this sense. So the word Hebron means place of joining, alliance. Kirjath Arba means city of four. I think because in Hebron, 4 generations of Abraham were like buried. Abraham was buried there. Is Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph eventually. So all these names may have meaning. The beer is a place of the word, also basically being struck. It's interesting. But Caleb means dark or unsophisticated servant. I think it's better to be called Othniel, God is force, or Lion of God. And Kenaz means hunting. Very interesting. So the sons of Seir are Lotan, Shobal, Sibeon, Anna, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishon again. So here we have Lotan, he gets to have 2 sons, Horai and Himam, and also a sister Timnah. So Timnah is the one that married Eliphaz and is the mother of Amalek. So Shobal got a lot of sons too. So here we have Ajah and Anna. This is in the Bible that we found mules. Apparently that's important. Somehow we haven't found it yet what the importance is about this, but also that says that it's not only mules maybe that he found, but hot springs. I don't know what that means exactly, but it is a sign of these genealogies. So here we got all these other sons also having these offspring, and I'm thinking that this Anna is this Anna, and this Dishon is this Dishon. So it basically goes on like this, but it's not really clear. So this like in this interrupted line is basically not so certain if all of this is in the same order. So Aholibama, she and Esau were a couple. So again, we see that they lived in the land of Seir, and this is where we basically start with who Esau really is. We can sort of have a little bit of a background, and we know now that he lives here. This might be a bit bigger sort of place, but might have been smaller, like here. And now a cat is bugging me. Go away, cat. So here we have the children and of Edom and Seir. I have to do it like this. Again, we see all these names again. And then we see these are the dukes, basically, of Seir. So these are these dukes. Apparently, all of them had a certain portion that they ruled over. And here it says basically that the dukes of these are the dukes of the Horites of the children of Seir in Edom. So who are those? Basically here you see the Hittites. Well, this list of Ishmael were Nahav, Zerah, Shema, and Nitzah. And the Horite or Hivite was Jews, Jaalim, and Korah. This is basically in one chapter, was mentioned in chapter 36. So in here, the dukes that came out of Horide, land of Seir. So let's see who those are. Lotan, Shobal, Sibion, Dishon, Ezer, Dishon, and Ana. Also a list of these guys: Lotan, Shobal, Sibion, Ana, Dishon, Ezer, and again Dishon. So he's the father of the Edomites, it says. So here in Genesis 36, there's a couple of other people also mentioned that are dukes. And also in Chronicles, there's a reference of them. We got Timnah, who is a woman, right? And Ilya, Aholibama, also a woman, and these others. So two women that also are dukes or chiefs. So in the land of Edom, also the women could be the chiefs. So now we are on a timeline. So here we have Esau and Jacob's birth, about 206 BC. And in Genesis, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And here, and when Rebekah, means days were to be delivered and fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Right? And the first came out all red, all over like a hairy garment. They came up, and they called him Esau. And Isaac was three scores years old when she bare him. So we know a little bit about the timeline. So again, so here I don't know when he sells his birthright. That's unknown at the time. Right? But I've read this before. So that is when he despised his birthright. And then the prophecy came, right? And the prophecy that he will break his yoke from him, and he hates basically Jacob over his blessing. Then Esau marries two daughters of Heth, Canaan, and that we know about what time that is, of course, because Isaac is now 100 years old. Right? So he took a wife, Judith, the daughter of Beri the Hittite, etc. And so we see here also these names. They were born in the land of Canaan, so we were still there at that time. Now Esau is cheated out of his father's blessing by his brother Jacob. Now that to be the time frame. Oh. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing, and Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning of my father are at hand, and then I will slay my brother." So we know that he's very cross with his brother. And Esau defeats the Horites because he intermarries them, but he also defeats them because of a certain stuff that happens. And it says here, the Horims also dwelt in Seir before time, but the children of Esau succeeded them when they had destroyed them before them and dwelt in their land. And Israel did unto the land of his possession, which the Lord gave unto them. So basically both of them took care of the ones that already lived in the land and took over their possessions. So here we go with the timeline that we left off with. Esau meets and makes up with his brother Jacob. And here he says, Esau said, "I have enough, my brother, keep that thou hast unto thyself." And Jacob said, "Nay, I pray thee, if now I have found grace in thy sight, then receive my present at my hand. For therefore I have seen thy face, and as though I had seen the face of God, and thou wast pleased with me. Take up ready my blessing that is brought to thee, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough. And he urged him and took it, and he took it. And he said, let us take our journey and let us go, and I will go before thee. So basically they go their own way again. So Esau goes back to Edom, which is the Mount Seir, at that time. And in Deuteronomy it says, as he did to the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, and he destroyed the Horims before them, and they succeeded them, and dwelt in their land. So again, these were by that time were gone. We see it here as well, and that this is his dwelling place. So Jacob dies at the age of 147. He's buried in the cave of Machpelah. And in the book of Jasher it says here, and Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, and the days of Jacob and the years of his life were 147 years. And at that time Jacob was attacked with that illness of which he died. And he sent and called for his son Joseph from Egypt, and Joseph, his son, came from Egypt, and Joseph came unto his father. So here it's the same as in Genesis, when he calls his children and he blesses them one by one. And I did a whole presentation on that, what these blessings basically were. And Jacob said unto Joseph and unto his sons, behold, I die, and the God of your ancestors will visit you and bring you back to the land which the Lord sware to give unto you and unto your children and after you. Now therefore, when I'm dead, bury me in the cave which is in Machpelah in Hebron, in the land of Canaan, near my ancestors. And it says here in Genesis 47, verse 28, and Jacob lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, so the whole age of Jacob was 147 years. So you have basically that the book of Jasher and the book of Genesis sort of have the same conclusion. And he charged them and said unto them, I am to be gathered unto my people, bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite. Ephron the Hittite. So I'm going to bury him there. And in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite for the possession of a burying place. So we remember that Abraham bought that for him and he gave it to Isaac, and Isaac basically gives that place to Jacob because of that blessing, right? And that's his right to be buried there. And also Joseph is going to be buried there as well. So they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife there. They buried Isaac and Rebekah his wife, and that's where he buried Leah. Okay, Jacob buried Leah. The purchase of the field and of the cave that is therein was from the children of Heth. So in the book of Jasher, and the report reached Esau, saying, Jacob died in Egypt, and his sons and all Egypt are conveying him to the land of Canaan to bury him. And Esau heard this thing, and he was dwelling in the mount of Seir. He rose up with his sons and all his people and all his household, a people exceedingly great, and they came to mourn and weep over Jacob. But then, what happens? So in the book of Jasher, they came unto Kiriath Arba, to the cave, and as they came, Esau stood with his sons against Joseph and his brethren as a hindrance in the cave, saying, Jacob shall not be buried therein, for it belongeth to us and to our father. And then Joseph and his brethren heard the words of Esau's sons, and they were exceedingly wroth. And Joseph approached unto Esau, saying, what is this thing which they have spoken? Surely my father Jacob bought it from thee for great riches after the death of his Isaac. now 25 years ago. And also all the land of Canaan he bought from you, from thee, and from thy sons and thy seed after thee. And Jacob bought it for his sons and his seed after him, and for an inheritance forever. And why speakest thou these things this day? And Esau answered, saying, Thou speakest falsely and utterest lies. For I sold nothing, not anything belonging to me in all this land, as thou sayest. Neither did my brother Jacob buy aught belonging to me in this land. So you see that Esau basically speaks lies. Right? It's also a characteristic of him. So in the book of Jasher, continues, and Esau spoke these things in order to deceive Joseph with his words. For Esau knew that Joseph was not present in those days when Esau sold all belonging to him in the land of Canaan to Jacob. And Joseph said unto Esau, Surely my father inserted these things with thee in a record of purchase. And they testified the record with witnesses, and behold, it is with us in Egypt. So there's a big dispute over who is buried where. And now, funnily enough, Esau dies at almost the same moment, a couple of days later maybe, but almost at the same moment that Jacob does. Oh, by the way, this is where they say that the cave of Machpelah in Hebron is, and they built all these things around it. I think this is an older picture. I wanted to see an older picture of it. Now it's more surrounded by more houses and all that. But basically, in here is the cave of where these people were supposedly being buried. So the book of Jasher again. And when Esau saw that Naphtali had gone to fetch the records, he and his sons increased their resistance against the cave. And Esau and all his people rose up against Joseph and his brethren to battle. And all the sons of Jacob and the people of Egypt fought with Esau and his men. And the sons of Esau and his people were smitten before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob slew of Esau's people 40 men. And Cushim the son of Dan, the son of Jacob, was at that time with Jacob's sons, but he was about 100 cubits distant from the place of battle. For he remained with the children of Jacob, Jacob's sons by Jacob's bier, and to guard it. And Cushim was dumb and deaf, and he understood the voice of the consternation among them. Still he understood the voice of consternation amongst them, and he asked, saying, Why do you not bury the dead? And what is this great consternation? And they answered him the words of Esau and his sons. And he ran to Esau in the midst of the battle, and he slew Esau with the sword, and cut off his head, and sprang to a distance. And it sprang to a distance, and Esau fell amongst the people of the battle. Funny that Esau killed Nimrod by beheading him. And that's the same fate that basically happened to him. And since Cushim was a son of Dan, Dan means judgment. So you can see that the sort of like karmic like thing is happening here. So we have here the chapters, and then we go on to the battle. The battle begins. Sepho captured. Well, Sepho was one of these sons of Eliphaz. And Eliphaz was a son of Esau. And the battle was very heavy between them, and the sons of Esau were smitten before the sons of Jacob, and the sons of Jacob slew the sons of Esau 80 men. And not one died of the people of the sons of Jacob, and the hand of Joseph prevailed over all the people of the sons of Esau. And he took Sepho, the son of Eliphaz, and the son of Esau, and 50 of his men captive. And he bound them with chains of iron, and he gave them into the hand of his servants to bring them to Egypt. And it came to pass when the sons of Jacob had taken Zepho and his people captives, all those that remained were greatly afraid of their lives from the house of Esau, lest they should be taken captive. And they all fled with Eliphaz the son of Esau and his people with Esau's body, and they went on a road to the Mount Seir. And they came to the Mount Seir, and they buried Esau in Seir, but they had not brought his head with them to Seir. That's weird. For it was buried in that place where the battle had been in Hebron. So the head of Esau, I find that very, very like interesting and weird. And but basically, in that cave that we just saw, the picture of it somewhere, the head of Esau is there, but not his body. That was sort of buried in Seir. Very interesting. So here, book of Jasher. And it came to pass when the sons of Esau had fled from before the sons of Jacob, the sons of Jacob pursued them unto the border of Seir, but they did not slay a single man from amongst them when they pursued them, for Esau's body which they carried with them excited their confusion. I could say, oh yeah. So they fled, and the sons of Jacob turned back from them and came up to the place where the brethren were in Hebron, and they remained there on that day and on the next day until they rested from the battle. And it came to pass on the third day they assembled all the sons of Seir the Horite, and they assembled all the children of the east, a multitude of people like the sand of the sea, and they went and came down to Egypt to fight Joseph and his brethren in order to deliver their brethren. So they tried to basically save Zepho and these 50 men. So a lot of battle is happening. And Joseph and his brethren and the strong men of Egypt went forth and fought in the city of Ramesses. And Joseph and his brethren dealt out a tremendous blow amongst the sons of Esau and the children of the east. And they slew of them 600,000 men, and they slew amongst them all the mighty men of the children of Seir the Horite. There were only a few of them left, and they slew also a great many of the children of the east and of the children of Esau. And Eliphaz the son of Esau and the children of the east all fled before Joseph and his brethren. So still Joseph was prevailing over Esau, and still the yoke was not off Esau yet. So now he wants to have help. And when the sons of Esau, the sons of Seir, returned to the land, the sons of Seir saw that they had fallen into the hands of the sons of Jacob and the people of Egypt on account of the battle of the sons of Esau. And the sons of Seir said unto the sons of Esau, You have seen, and therefore you know that this camp was on your account, and not one mighty man or an adept in war remaineth. Now therefore go forth from our land, go from us to the land of Canaan, to the land of the dwelling of your fathers, wherefore shall your children inherit the effects of our children in latter days. So basically these sons of Seir are sort of through with the sons of Esau. They want to get them off their land because they were decimated by the sons of Jacob, and they were sort of drawn into that war that wasn't their war. The children of Esau would not listen to the children of Seir, and the children of Seir considered to make war with them. The children of Esau sent secretly to Angeas, the king of Africa, the same as in Dinhaba, saying, Send unto us of thy men, and let them come unto us, and we will fight together with the children of Seir the Horite. For they have resolved to fight with us to drive us away from the land. So they fought many, many battles over that land. So the Horites defeated And Angeas sent again to the children of Esau about 600 valiant men, and they came to assist the children of Esau. And in 10 days' time, the children of Esau again waged war with the children of Seir in the wilderness of Paran, and the battle was very severe upon the children of Seir. And the children of Esau prevailed at this time over the children of Seir. This is the time where they basically conquered them and sort of supplanted them. And the children of Seir were smitten before the children of Esau, and the children of Esau slew from them about 2,000 men. And all the mighty men of the children of Seir died in this battle, and there only remained their young children that were left in their cities. And all Midian and all the children of the east betook themselves to flight from the battle, and they left the children of Seir and fled when they saw the battle was severe upon them. And the children of Esau pursued all the children of the east until they reached their land. So they conquered the Horites. And the children of Esau slew yet from of them about 250 men, and from the people of the children of Esau there fell in that battle about 30 men. But this evil came upon them through their brethren turning from them to assist the children of Seir the Horite. And the children of Esau heard of the evil doings of their brethren, and they again mourned on account of this thing. And it came to pass after battle that the children of Esau turned back and came home unto Seir. And the children of Esau slew those who had remained in the land of the children of Seir, and they slew also their wives and little ones. And they left not a soul alive, except 50 young lads and damsels, whom they suffered to live. And the children of Esau did not put them to death, and the lads became their slaves, and the damsels they took for wives. And the children of Esau dwelt in Seir, in the place of the children of Seir, and they inherited their land and took possession of it. And the children of Esau took all belonging in the land to the children of Seir, also their flocks, their bullocks, their goods, and all the belongings to the children of Seir did the children of Esau take, and the children of Esau also dwelt in Seir, in the place of the children of Seir, unto this day. The children of Esau divided the land into divisions to the 5 sons of Esau according to their family. So now you can see that they divided the land and they made all these dukes, sort of the dukes over these portions of land. So this is the next part is very interesting for me, also characteristic of this people group. It came to pass in those days that the children of Esau resolved to crown a king over them in the land of which they became possessed. And they said to each other, "Not so, for he shall reign over us in our land, and we shall be under his counsel, and he shall fight our battles against our enemies." And they did so. And all the children of Esau swore, saying, that none of their brethren should ever reign over them, but a strange man who is not of their brethren. For the souls of all the children of Esau were embittered every man against his son, brother, and friend, on account of the evil they sustained from their brethren when they fought with the children of Seir. Because when the children of Seir were sort of prevailing in the first battles over Esau, or the Edomites, a couple of these Edomites sort of went to the children of Seir and tried to fight with them. So you have a lot of infighting too. So they never wanted to be put in that situation again. So therefore the sons of Esau swore, saying, from that day forward they would not choose a king from their brethren, but one from a strange land, unto this day. Unto this day. It's very interesting. So they choose a king from not from their brethren. Very important. So here we have basically the summary, the timeline, and then the battle begins. Because the children of Esau, or the Edomites, they hate what happened at the cave. They hate what happened to them, Also, that they were cheated out of the good land, because that land of Edom is like a barren land. It's like sand and rocks, caves, not really the fat of the land. So they battle. They have a sort of a grudge against the Israelites. Now, sort of a summary of all these duks, and later on I will go over them. So we have the characteristics so far for Esau. He's a hunter and a cunning man of the field. He marries outside his family, so he marries like not within his family but other people groups. He sells and despises his birthright. He hates his brother for cheating him out of his inheritance. And he fights with other tribes to possess the land and the riches. And here we can see the characteristic of the Edomites, but I want to go over that in the next presentation. So Edom, these are the mountains of Edom behind them here. You can see that these are sort of Bedouin-like people groups. And this is a very important one, the appointed kings. None of these kings' sons became kings after their fathers died. Apparently, no familiar royal line whereby the sons of these post-Horrid kings succeeded to the throne, but rather some other system was in place by which kings were either chosen or won the right to rule. But you can also see that it was from other tribes. They didn't want to have their own brethren ruling over them. They appointed the king of their own. And well, a lot of lands, you can also see a red flag. I see a red flag with this. Warning signs. We have a system that's sort of basically set up that way. Right? So interesting. This is the source of what the Horrid kings was, and I think that the Edomites sort of same thing. And this is the end of the presentation, and next will be the kings of Edom.
Well, thanks, Betty.
So that's it for now.
Okay, then let's see what we got.
Well, within the time, I think.
Got a bunch of messages retracted from Iron FE.
Oh.
Alrighty then. All right. Next discussion, next presentation is not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. That's good because I won't be here Thursday. There's a good chance I won't be here Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, my son. We'll know Saturday because he'll be in the state finals. I'm pretty sure he's going to make it. So.
Okay. Well, the 10th of November. That's my birthday, and I won't be there.
And yeah, so when is that? What is 2 weeks from today?
That's 2 weeks from today.
Is it the 10th?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to be there. Okay.
So hopefully we can do it in the week after.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and wrap it up.
All right.
Yeah,
good.
Thanks, Betty. All right, guys, stay tuned. Ballbusters on Saturday. Just be an open panel. Probably talk about the Rhodes Scholars that I've been dealing with past week. We'll see. But we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Out.